surprise margin for BJP. I mean, not just victories, it's the surprise margin also. Like in Madhya Pradesh, it was nobody, even the party leaders had predicted this kind of a sweep for the BJP in Madhya Pradesh, where it has been in power for 20 years, barring the 15 months break when Kamal Nath was in power. So in Chhattisgarh, where Bhupesh Baghel led the Congress, and everybody thought that it would be a clear sweep for the Congress government, mainly because of its welfare schemes and the way Baghel used to run the government. But even the hardline Hindu Tua people were not at all upset with Baghel. And still, even the Congress could not retain power in Chhattisgarh. Rajasthan, of course, the BJP was expected to win, mainly because most of the voters on the ground were saying it is time for a change in Rajasthan, because the 5 years we have seen Gehlot government. The Gehlot's welfare schemes, as Baghel's welfare schemes, were popular, but there was a feeling that it was kind of announced at the last minute just for election victory. Although in Madhya Pradesh also we heard such comments, it was Shivraj Singh Chauhan's popularity, and he among the BJP leaders, he's considered to be one who has that ability to reach out and who has that ability to sustain a campaign with full energy till the last minute. I think it looks like the Congress's rather lazy approach versus Shivraj Singh Chauhan's energy, the full of energy, and his, popularity among women. Overall, the BJP's main highlight was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's popularity, which is still intact since 2014, which we have seen as transcending caste lines and class lines in different elections. But this time, in that, usually the voters differentiate between the Lok Sabha election and the state election. And the state election, usually they kind of vote on the basis of the local issues. But this time it looked like it was Modi's popularity, his guarantee, kind of won the hearts more than the guarantees which was offered by the Congress, in these states.
The Congress went into these elections with a set template, a template which it had successfully experimented in Karnataka as well as Himachal Pradesh earlier this year and towards the end of last year, which was a guarantee model which is based on welfare promises, soaps for all sections of the society, from unemployed youth to women to young girls. So that was a template that they experimented in Himachal and Karnataka, and they replicated that model across all the all the major 4 states. And leaders close to the Congress's war room had been telling us that the party was very hopeful in Madhya Pradesh as well as Chhattisgarh, and of course they were very confident that they're clearly ahead in Telangana. Only in the case of Rajasthan they were a little doubtful. So given the results which came out today, of course the Congress is stunned, the result coming as it does just barely 4 months ahead of Lok Sabha elections. The calculations of the Congress, there are a variety of reasons which led to the Congress's defeat in at least in the heartland states. In Madhya Pradesh, Congress leaders, with the benefit of hindsight, of course, tell us that while the Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan had a mass appeal, the Congress's leaders, both Mr. Kamal Nath and Mr. Digvijay Singh, were party leaders primarily. They did not have much of an appeal outside the party. They were big Congress leaders. Apart from these two, the Congress did not have any other charismatic leader who could appeal across the state. And the template, as I told you, was more on matching the promises or matching the schemes that the Shivraj Singh government had been implementing. So Ladli Behna Yojana mein you top it up with 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees. So it was like kind of a mirror image of the BJP schemes. So the party lacked imagination. All this now they're saying, with the benefit of hindsight, the party's campaign lacked imagination, energy, and leaders who could caste leaders specifically, and leaders of specific regions of Madhya Pradesh who could rally the vote bank. In Chhattisgarh, it was really a surprise for the Congress leadership, because the BJP's campaign, from a Congress point of view, was not very aggressive. It was kind of a very docile campaign. So that gave the Congress a false hope that the BJP is down and out, and perhaps the Congress was easily winning. So at some point, I think a kind of complacency also crept in the Congress campaign, perhaps looking at the BJP campaign. There was no clear face for the BJP. Former Chief Minister, three-time Chief Minister Raman Singh did not even campaign outside his constituency. So that perhaps the Congress was done in by the complacency. In Rajasthan, there was no real surprise. The state has a tradition of voting out the incumbent. For the last 30 years, that has been the tradition. But unlike the previous Congress defeats, when the last time we remember, the Congress ended up getting only 21 seats. So this time, comparatively, the Congress, the performance was much better. Again, it was a centralized campaign. The campaign, revolving around Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. There was huge anger among the Gujjar community for the party for having sidelined Sachin Pilot because remember, he was the Congress president last time around when the party went into elections. So he was not made the chief minister. So that was one factor. And this over centralization of the campaign around Ashok Gehlot, it had its limitations. Again, the Congress was hoping that since the BJP has not projected a leader, the former chief minister Vasundhara Raje was not in the forefront. Unlike in the last elections. So there was a hope at some level that maybe the BJP campaign was in disarray. It would help the Congress, but it was not to be. Rajasthan sticking to its tradition.
There could be a difference between Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh. Again, this is in hindsight, in retrospect, with the results out for both states. One could say that in Karnataka, the Modi appeal seemed very evident, but voters were making a distinction between the state election and the central election. So many people that we talked to, they said that they would vote for Modi at the center, but they would not carry over that support for Modi to the state government. We heard voters say similar things in Madhya Pradesh also, but I think the crucial difference in retrospect was that Karnataka, there was a lot of anger against the state government. The Basavaraj Bommai government was widely perceived to be corrupt, widely perceived to be, it was a poor government. There was misgovernance, on a comprehensive governance failure, one could say. One did not hear that kind of anger against the government, the Shivraj Singh Chauhan government in Madhya Pradesh. So, though the Modi appeal was there in Karnataka, but I think it came up against anger against the state government in Karnataka, and it did not come up against anger or great unpopularity of the state government in Madhya Pradesh. So, it is possible in retrospect that the Modi appeal that hit a wall in Karnataka did not hit that wall in Madhya Pradesh. That's one. And if you look at it from the Congress's point of view, you're right that, in Karnataka as well, the Congress seemed to run a very, very local campaign. It sort of highlighted the local issues, and it did the same in Madhya Pradesh. But I think, again, the crucial difference may be this, that when there was anger against the BJP government, the Congress was able to be the receptacle of the anti-BJP vote in Karnataka. In Madhya Pradesh, again, there was no great anger against the BJP government. So there, to win, the Congress needed to be doing much more than just going local as a sort of an escape strategy, because its going local did not seem to be a thought out, unified kind of a strategy. It was actually it sort of almost seemed to speak of a lack of strategy, a lack of a binding strategy. So they let their local candidates shoulder the burden of the campaign in their individual constituencies, simply because they didn't seem to have a binding theme that could make the whole campaign coherent and purposeful. So given that, again, there was the state government was not deeply unpopular in Madhya Pradesh the way it had been in Karnataka. I think the Congress there in Karnataka was just there, and that was enough. It received the anti-BJP vote. Here, because there was no great anti-BJP vote coming its way, it would have needed to do much more than it did. And that much more is simply that it needed a story and a narrative and a coherence to the campaign, which wasn't there. It was just a campaign splintered into many, many constituencies. So I think that may have been the crucial difference why the Modi appeal hit a wall in Karnataka, but did not in Madhya Pradesh, and why the Congress could become the receptacle in Karnataka, but could not here, because here it needed to be much more than just a receptacle. There wasn't that kind of forceful anti-BJP vote coming its way.